Hello, welcome back. Ryan Cars, commenting on comments. It's my first time doing this. I'm just going to run through some comments, and because here's the thing, I upload a bunch of videos and then I walk away just to stay sane, and then so I don't really comment a lot on my comments. So I just wanted to make a video saying, hey guys, like I really appreciate the comments, everybody. Um, there's some really good stuff in here. Um, keep doing it. it. It's not just me who likes the comments, and it's not the algorithm. I don't ask for comments for that. I ask comments to leave the comments so that somebody else who's watching the video will scroll through and read your comments, and they'll learn something. Because that's what I do when I go through YouTube videos. I quickly scroll through the comments and I go, hey, wait, there's something else here. And really cool. Thanks, buddy. And then I'll like their comment and comment on it or something, right? Like, that's the important thing of the comments and the important part of the, I don't know, social media aspect, social part of the social media aspect of this, right? It's not just somebody spouting things out at you at the screen, right? And you listening to somebody say something to you. It's it's this interactive part, right? Um, the most recent one here that I'm looking at today, it's it was the blanked out buttons video. And this guy here, Broheemed 32, like he's looking for a Volvo S60, the fully loaded thing with the research shows the premium audio is only available at the top trim level or as a package that includes a navigation as well as some other features. Volvos with the nav button, which is blank if that package is not present. I've already seen some crooked cars that use a S60 claim it's loaded with every option. Then you look at the images and the nav button is blank, right? Auto dealers do that. It's just got a bunch of stuff in it. They just say fully loaded, um, especially when they're used cars. They don't know everything. They just say all those words to get you to look at the ad so that they'll click through. But on the other hand, my sister has that car. The exact one you're talking about. It's the top of the line. It's got all the badges, got all the stuff, and maybe when she sees this video, she'll comment on that. But I know exactly what you're talking about. She's going to be here tomorrow. Maybe I'll do a video on her car. Never considered the blank buttons. Thanks, Mom. RSX Type S model. There weren't any. And that's what I remember. Like when I bought my Civic, my first brand new Civic, and you could get the LX, DX, whatever versions of it. But then when you got the SI, it was still at the time where, you know, it was an actual sport model. It had the upgraded suspension and stuff. Didn't have anything to do with the engine, but it had to do with all, um, you know, it's two doors, and it was a sport model. And I remember in the car, everything was filled out. We actually even put an aftermarket cup holder in the back here. Not an aftermarket, but through the dealer or whatever. That we installed a cup holder for the back. We had kids at the time. But I like this guy. So blanks are fine though, and I forgot about this part. As a kid driving around in cars and seeing James Bond cars, and you could put in all those switches, right? You would see all the switches in the cars. So the RSX had a base and a Type S model. I don't think there were any options you could add to the Type S. Like that's what I think with the Civic. You couldn't add any options to it. You couldn't get leather seats. You couldn't get heated seats. You couldn't get stuff like that. If you wanted that, you had to upgrade to an Acura, the 1.7 version of the Acura. Blanks are fine though. If you want to add flamethrowers to your exhaust, you can have the perfect place to put the switch, which is awesome. Like I would like to be able to do stuff like that. I remember during the tuning days, and people, it was the 90s, and people were doing weird stuff with their buttons. They would put alarm, uh, little blinking lights or a little switch even to turn on and off the alarms, or that's how they used the blank buttons back in the day. Um, 2019 bought the top of the line GTI Autobahn. It was so loaded that the car could parallel park itself. It still had one blank button. Like you, I was like, what the heck? To this day, I don't know what that button is supposed to be. And there was a guy in here. Yeah, it's in his replies. And some markets get features that your market may not have. And I had that on the BMW because those rear fog lights were standard for Europe, but they're not here. But all the equipment is still there, which is the weird thing. Like you could all the equipment, it's all the plug-in is that was there for it. You just had to get the little piece to plug in to that, right? And they didn't sell it in North America. You had to buy them on eBay from some German seller or whatever, and then I could get rear fog lights on my BMW. I'm just gonna. What was the other one? The other one was the car wash one was huge. Thanks for all the comments on there because I don't know. There's so many. I'm not getting internet. There we go. There's so many different ways to wash your car, I guess. But and I think if you're a car washing person, you really streamline it because you know it's a big job and you do certain things to make sure that every time you go wash the car, it becomes quick and simple, right? Whereas somebody who never washes a car doesn't know where to start, and they only do silly things, and or they'll carry around Armor All wipes on the dash, and that's what they'll do to wash their car, which is something, but it's not always the best. Let me see here. I gotta go to these videos. This might run a little bit longer than usual. Yeah, I'm not getting internet. Maybe it'll be shorter than usual because I'm not getting internet. Well, we'll see how that goes. Yeah, there was great stuff in the car washing video. Great stuff in the comments. And it's really strange. Like I didn't know what to expect when I started this YouTube and started just talking about cars in cars, and not necessarily, the car that I'm in. I'm talking about, I guess. I really, yeah, it's not coming. Let me see. I'll just leave it up here for now. What I do remember is when I had the car magazine, and then I was in different cars every week, and like loaners from the dealers, sort of thing. And it was just, I remember thinking back then because I was writing things out and putting it in print and then sending it off. But what I found is just talking about the cars. Like I would show up at the office and I would have a certain car, and I would go up, I would go to my buddy's my buddy's office and I'd just say, "Hey, come here, look at this," right? And we go out and we talk about it. Hey, what's that? What's it with that? And then it just started to be a thing where I would even just be at the dealer and we'd be setting up a photo shoot. And then we would just start talking about cars in general, not even the car that they're loaning or anything like that, but just stuff in general. I remember going to Audi and asking, hey, like, could we set up a photo shoot sort of thing, right? Like, we just, because I think they were releasing the Q7, the very first Q7 that year. Not just that, there was also the R8. It was also new. But they loaned us a Q7, and we didn't have the photo shoot in their dealership. We drove it to a location to a park, and my wife shot with the models, and I remember the vehicle. Like, it was huge, it was nice, it was way better than Tahoe. Or what is it, GMC Yukon? Yeah, way nicer, drove way better. But I remember going into the dealership, pick up the car that day, and he's like, "Hey, like if you would have gave us a couple of more days, um, warning, because we have a R8 we're delivering like tomorrow. If you would have let, if you want, like, do you want to set up for like, we'll get the car cleaned up sort of thing, and you can come in like tomorrow, and you could do something here with it, right?" And then we just started talking about the R8 because it was brand new. It was brand new launch. I remember having um, the R8 video on my computer and as a background picture on my laptop that time. And I was like, "Yeah, cool." And then we just started talking about it, right? And that's when I learned it's the Gallardo, but it's not the Gallardo, right? And it's got this. So anyway, yeah, it was. We just started talking about the car. Not even one that I was driving. I remember the same thing with the BMW dealership, and we went there for a photo shoot, and we did one car, and then we were going to end up doing a car show. I traded some ad space for a car show, and he said, "Why don't I just give you space? I'll give you this huge space, and you can come fill it up with cars, right? Because I just need people to come in and look at cars, and you get cars from wherever you want or whatever kind of cars you want. You just get this space and you can fill it with cars, right?" And I went to BMW, said, "Hey, I need some cars for a car show. Is there any cars you want to go, that you want in the car show, sort of thing, right?" And yeah, and then we just started talking about cars. You know, what kind of cars? Tell me about it. And I said, "I got these Japanese import guys, and they're bringing in a bunch of weird things. I really don't know what they're bringing, but I told them to bring as many as they can." And then I got the other dealership, and they're saying, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, Volvo." And he's like, "Yeah, here, take this one. Just don't put too many kilometers on it." I'm like, "Okay, sure, no problem." And I just remember, all of those experiences I never got to write about, which were the better experiences than just reviewing the car. You know, I will say that. I will say that. When you go to these, and you'll experience this if you've ever gone to car shows. If you're a person who does car shows, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But you go to a car show and you'll see a car, and maybe the owner's there, or maybe somebody who owned one before, and you're both standing there and you're looking at it and you go, "Hey, oh, I like that car. Oh, I remember this car." And I meant you tell a little story, you break the ice, sort of thing, right? And then you guys just start talking about um, that car, a car. This bonding moment happens, right? Where you're bonding over cars, and those are the stories that are better than the car that you're sitting in front of, or the car that you're sitting in. And it's got all these cool features, and it's got all these awesome numbers, the 0 to 60s, the top speeds, the suspension, the steering wheel, the seats, the how much fucking space is in the back for you to cubically inch put groceries in. I remember watching, car shows, and I do like watching car shows, and I used to watch the kind that weren't frivolous, like Grand Tour or um, Top Gear at the time. I watched more nuts and bolts and statistic focused kind of things, right? Like, what is it? What is this car? What does it do? How much space does it have? Blah blah blah. What features and how are the features, and what is the reliability over time and things like that, like really nerdy stuff. Because I just wanted information about the car. I didn't want to figure out anything like that. I even though my entire purpose around driving and cars was always how much fun it was, how much fun cars were. Because there is pleasure in driving around in your car, in searching for your car, in buying your car, in selling your car, in washing your car, in opening up all the panels to find things like, well, the hood for the engine, but then you get into here where you got the emergency release for the gas door or the fuse boxes. I mean, these little cubby holes with hidden cubby holes in them sometimes, right? I remember the BMW had a hidden key in the glove box with and then your BMW flashlight, right? I don't even know if they still do that, but also you could the secret way to start your car without the key, without your key fob, right? Like you have manual key and you could stick it in there. You could turn the car on with that. Same thing with the trunk. You had secret release for it. A little anyway. Things like that. Like that's the stuff that brings joy to, and how it feels when you're driving it down the road, how it takes a corner, how well it stops, or if it doesn't stop, if it doesn't turn. Because there is great joy in a car taking an aggressive corner, sticking to it, and then hammering it out at the other end. And then there's also the great terrifying joy when you turn the steering wheel and nothing happens. And you know, even if you end up in a catastrophe, it's a memory and you look back and you laugh at if you didn't kill somebody, right? Where you just smashed your car, you ended up in a ditch, and now you have a story. I was driving like a lunatic and I turned the wheel and I forgot that the tires were bald, or it was a crappy car and it didn't work, and I took out two fence posts and rolled it on its side, but then it flopped back on its wheel. Stuff like that. That is why I think I started this channel and just talking about cars instead of showing cars, you know. Because I am still thinking here, like, should I be going to the dealerships talking about, reviewing cars again? And I probably will. Like, actually, one car that I wanted that I totally forgot about when I was buying my Hornet, but they didn't have any at the dealership. That's why I forgot about it, because there was none. There were none on the dealership, and that was the Buick Envision. I had Buicks left my brain. Buicks were an old man's car sort of thing, but even at the time, I knew Buicks were probably more reliable than Toyotas at the time. Like, Buick was an underrated um, uh, brand, and I think it started their rebranding when they did the Enclave. When they brought out the Enclave, I was like, I noticed Buick again, and then the guy I was working with, he bought one, and that was his retirement vehicle. That was his last brand new vehicle he was gonna buy, last brand new vehicle, and he was gonna pay it off in 4 years, and then he would be debt free, and then he could his house pay off everything, and then he could just live on his retirement savings, right? I think he was 50. He was 55 or 56. He was going to retire, move back to Newfoundland and retire, right? But then that kept Buick on my radar, going okay. And then I would see the odd commercial, and Buick has always been a nice car, really has been. I just was never a fan of American cars, but it was always a good car, nicely appointed throughout the years. Just ugly and boring old man cars until lately, where you look at their SUVs and they're actually really nice. They are. And I remember seeing an Envision after I bought my Hornet, going, ooh, 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 I could have had that. I forgot about that, you know, because it's a good looking car. And when I say, you know, there were no good looking SUVs, there was the Hornet, I guess it looked really good, but the MX-5 from Mazda looked really nice. And that Buick Envision, like those three were absolutely stunning vehicles to look at. Exciting to look at. They stirred something in me anyway. I don't know if it was you, but the RAV4 didn't. The Nissan Rogue didn't. The CRV didn't. Um, Trailblazer was nothing. Like even I mean, the Kias kind of did, and Kias, and the Hyundai Tucson didn't. Sorry, it didn't. The Tiguan didn't. Tiguan looked like a soccer mom car. Uh, Kia Seltos. Oh no, that thing was ugly. That's right. That thing is ugly. I'm sorry. Sorry if you own a Seltos. It's my personal opinion. I just not my thing. I looked at Buddy had one at work, and I'm like, you put that on payments, and it's a Hyundai. Ooh, things people do with their money, right? Could be worse. Could be. No, it's just my bias is showing. Sorry, and yeah, I remember the Buicks. And there's a dealership out here that I'll probably go and ask and see and do a review on because I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing what that Buick looks like and how nice it is inside because it is the cat. I don't know. It's not even the GM's got the Cadillac, right? And I was gonna say, it's the Cadillac of Pontiac or whatever it used to be, right? But now it's just Buick GMC. They don't want to outshine the Cadillac, I guess. But I know Buick were the high end versions of cars, and I know they were kind of a luxury kind of brand back in the day. And I wonder what that. Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I will. Got to set that up. Commenting on comments didn't work out. I'll have to be more prepared in the future. Thank you for commenting on comments, or thank you for commenting, and thank you for commenting on other people's comments. Uh, I really encourage that in the videos. I will continue to encourage that in the videos. Always keep putting the comments in the comments. I do read them. I don't always reply to them. I'm working like, well, 3 jobs. I have 5 employers, and the YouTube thing is actually another job. So I'm like 4 part-time jobs right now, just trying to make it sort of thing. Uh, I think in the future here, I got to work towards 500 subscribers. I'm at 53 subscribers. I found that out today. And no, 35. 35. I'm dyslexic. And the last time I looked at it, it was like 29. And week by week, I'm gaining subscribers. And I thank you very much. And I really appreciate people subscribing. It means a lot. Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, there was a guy there talking about, there was 2 comments like that so far since I started my channel where be more organized and it's a waste of oxygen because leaving dead space, and that's because I'm recording live like this. I'm not editing any of it, right? And I had to learn first of all how to talk in front of the camera, but how to keep the pace going and how to speak in a way that doesn't annoy myself, like keeps the flow going, sort of thing, on to the next, on to the next, on to the next, without the ums. I'm still noticing I'm doing that, and I notice I'm still leaving dead space, but that's kind of part of stream of consciousness talking, I guess. I don't have a teleprompter. um, I don't have list of things that I'm reading off of, so it's not going to be robotic sort of thing. I really did want it to be organic like this, and I'm hopefully finding the people, obviously, that enjoy and appreciate that, and in return, I appreciate it, and that's kind of why I'm making this video. It's kind of an appreciation video, saying that yes, I know you're humans, and yes, you are there, and yes, you are watching my videos, and yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it, and let's keep it going. Because this, I think everybody should be doing this. If you're a car guy, just start doing this because this is actually really fun. This has turned out to be really fun. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be a little bit of a drag, right? Because it's, it's videos, it's editing, it's setting up a whole bunch of technology, and it's getting in the car. You got to think of things, and you kind of got to do, and you got to entertain people, right? And it sounded more, I don't know, sounded more difficult than it really is. I shouldn't say that because it is difficult. It is difficult. And I think I've seen YouTubers talk about this stuff before, right? And I kind of don't really want to bore you with that. It's very different. That's why what I learned to do here was upload like weeks worth of videos or so in advance and then just walk away from it and not have anything to do with it. I'll just make a bunch of videos again and then I'll upload them, like 3 or 4, and then I'll upload them, and then I don't have to think about it. Because if I start getting into the nitty gritty details of this analytics and all the comments, and it will the negative comments drag you down, of course, right? And I also know there are signposts that you're doing something pretty good if people start hating it. But getting the really good comments and the supportive comments are so crucial here at the beginning because it does brighten my day. Like when I get notifications saying, "Oh, there's like 6 notifications," and then it's all people commenting on a video, and I was like, "Oh wow, people are watching it." Boom, and then I go into YouTube Studio, and it says, "Oh, you have like 4 new subscribers since Thursday." I was like, "What? New subscribers? What? People like this stuff?" people are people want to see more of this. I'm like, really? Okay, I'll do more. And that's kind of what happens, right? It's just me sitting in a car talking about things, and it's really weird, and I really appreciate it. It'd be really weird if I was recording these and just watching them, keeping them for myself. That would be weird. But is it weirder that other people like it? I don't know. I don't want to think about that because that's weird. All right. Thanks for sticking around this long. I really appreciate it. Consider hitting the subscribe button. Um, if you did like something that I said in here, hit the like button, of course. And yeah. Hey, if I make a video that sucks, I'll make another one tomorrow. Hopefully it won't suck. But it's tough to gauge. I never know which ones are going to be good, which ones are going to be bad. I don't know. I just pump them out, and 1 or 2, they'll do well. Most of them don't. It's kind of how it works, right? You never know. You never know. I have to go back and rewatch a video of things I was going to make videos about. I mentioned that at the end of one of the videos there, and there was a few topics that I thought, hey, and then I didn't write it down. So now I got to go back and watch the video, find the video, and find out what topic I was going to bring up. And if you know which one it is, write it in the comments so that I can read it. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, if you know what video it is and what I said I should be making things about, write it in the comments. Because I think I'm just going to post this one randomly throughout the week before the other videos come out. I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. Because I think this one needs to go out because I got to say thank you to everybody. Really, that's what this video is about. I just want to say thank you for, I think, 35 subscribers now. 35 of you people. You're gold. I appreciate it. You know who I'm talking about. All right. Thank you very much, and I'll see you on the next one.